You can't turn her to a housewife. That's what's going on. You going nowhere.
No, I don't like problems.
I didn't tell you I was
I
done
swear
with you.
to
Let
God.
me make that
I have
clear.
problems in my mind, in my life. I have many problems.
If some interaction with you changes how I feel about him or is impactful enough, you know, I wouldn't marry him.
You wouldn't?
Because if Sophie doesn't approve of my relationship with Sarper, I won't be able to marry him.
So Sarper is starting to settle into his new Californian life, and Shekinah is even making sacrifices for him. I mean, she's willing to make a protein shake in her strictly no-cooking kitchenette. How kind. But it's Sarper's handling of Dan, the way he reacted to Dan and her friends, that's left Shekinah feeling optimistic, but Sarper feeling cautious.
He is just like a French bulldog barking to a German shepherd. If he does it again, it will be the last time that he saw modern Sarper, okay?
I think we can all agree there has been a massive change in Sarper recently. He has become a giant softie. Now, it's this modern Sarper that Shekinah can see a future with. Like, she loves the fact, she's feeling really good about the fact that she's seemingly achieved the impossible. She's tamed a bad boy, and Shekinah's so happy about this. She's so proud of the way that Sarper handled Dan that she now thinks it might be time for them to take the next step.
It made me really happy to see that you could like hold your ground. That was a high pressure situation. You had a lot of eyes looking at you. It makes me feel a lot better about you meeting Sophie, actually.
Now, Shekinah and Sarper are planning to get married within the next 2 months. But remember, Shekinah's daughter Sophie has yet to meet Sarper. Shekinah tells us that she has tried multiple times to introduce them to each other. But Sophie hasn't been interested in getting to know Sarper because of all the negative stories she's heard about him from the rest of her family. But it's now or never, Shekinah tells us. I want her to meet him and make up her own mind, realise that everything she's heard about him is wrong.
There's a time crunch she's on. Like, I want her to meet him before we get married. Because if Sophie doesn't approve of my relationship with Sarper, I won't be able to marry him.
So Sarper and Shekinah head off, they fly out to Northern California where Sophie's boarding school is. The plan is for Shekinah to first meet with Sophie alone and try and convince her to give Sarper a chance. And as the couple check into their accommodation for the night, Sarper reveals just how seriously he's taking this.
I wish you wouldn't need to go, but you have to go. We have a mission
I know.
to accomplish.
It's an important one.
Notice how he doesn't say you have a mission to accomplish, it's we have a mission to accomplish. That is a good sign, and it's not a one-off either. He says exactly the same thing later on as well.
Good luck.
Thank you. I need it.
We need it.
Like, Sarper knows just how important Sophie's approval is to both of them. He's under no illusion. He's been told that without it, the wedding will not go ahead. And what's good to see is that Sarper isn't just pushing it aside as if it's Shekinah's problem. But as Shekinah leaves to go and meet Sophie, not for the first time, Sarper finds himself at a loose end. It's left to him to find another way to entertain himself.
Oh my God. Sea lions. I never saw them in person. They are just like us, me and Shekinah.
Okay, so now that we can rest easy knowing that Sarper is being entertained, now we can focus on the important stuff. Shekinah has taken Sophie for some mother-daughter bonding time. They've gone to get some pedicures. And after a little bit of small talk, which mostly involved Shekinah telling Sophie how cute Sarper was, eating mac and cheese for the first time.
You don't have mac and cheese in Turkey? No.
The topic of conversation then turns to Sophie.
And the biggest thing for me is finding out if you like Sarper.
I feel like I've just been kind of reluctant towards meeting him because, you know, like I wanted to be sure.
Sophie has been waiting for Shekinah to actually be sure about Sarper before agreeing to meet him. Now, it's actually quite heartbreaking to hear why Sophie has learnt to have her walls up with the men in Shekinah's life. And tragically, Sophie tells us, I've learnt the hard way that I haven't always been my mum's priority.
The guys that she's chosen haven't been the best. The fact that I was also very involved in those relationships when I was really young, and I had to like kind of go through that with her.
Now, Shekinah herself admits that in the past, she has put her love life ahead of her daughter. But, she tells us, I have no intention of ever doing that again. This time round, she tells us, I want Sophie to meet Sarper. I want her to make her own mind up about him. And if for any reason she decides she doesn't like Sarper, then I will have to end things with Sarper. Like, I will put Sophie first.
If some interaction with you changes how I feel about him or is impactful enough, you know, I wouldn't marry him.
You wouldn't?
Look, that might be harsh to hear, it might not be nice, but it is the right thing. She should be putting her daughter first. She is a mum first and foremost, right? I just hope that she means what she says. Now, while there is definitely the very real possibility that that situation might arise, Shekinah might need to pick between her fiancé and her daughter. For now at least, it doesn't seem like it will get to that point. You see, despite previously being very reluctant to meet Sarper, now Sophie seems a lot more open to that idea.
Obviously, I love that you're happy, and
Yeah.
I love that he's making you happy.
So wait, does this mean you'll meet him?
He's a big part of your life, and obviously, I'm a big part of your life. Yeah, I'm open to it.
So Sophie is open to it, but let's not forget, she will be coming into the meeting with some preconceived ideas about who Sarper is. Make no mistake, Sarper does face a battle ahead of him in order to win Sophie round. Now, the silver lining to that is if what we've seen of Sarper recently is anything to go by, then I do have quite a bit of faith in this new modern Sarper. I think he does have what it takes to win Sophie around. But do you know who I have zero faith in? The throuple. You see, while they have made a little tiny slither of progress, there's still something that's not sitting right with Amani. She's getting concerned, annoyed and irritated by the fact that Annie and Matt appear to have become a lot closer.
Being in a throuple, there's always that equal feeling that you're chasing. Since the beginning of the trip, things were just going more in favor of Matt.
I think we've all noticed it. It's something I commented on a video or two ago. Like, there is this niggling little feeling that maybe Annie liked Matt more. Now, in Amani's mind, the evidence is beginning to mount. First, there was our reunion, she says, and Annie kissed Matt before she kissed me. Then we have the whole they had sex without me incident. And of course, we have the icing on the cake. We have the fact that Annie told her family that Matt was her boyfriend and I was just her friend, she says. So, with the fear and the insecurity running through her mind, after their wine tasting, Amani decides to broach the topic.
But I'm really hurt by the fact that you're introducing me as like just a friend to your family. If the issue is really polyamory and you could have presented me as a girlfriend.
And yet again, Amani has just proved that she needs this to be all about her. Like, if Annie had introduced her as her girlfriend, then Matt would have been excluded. But Annie doesn't care about that. Like, she doesn't care as long as it's her that's chosen. But what Amani and Matt seem to fail to realise is that this is going to be very difficult for Annie to do. Like, she's told us she comes from a very religious Mexican family. My parents aren't going to understand this. They're not going to like the fact that I'm in a throuple with a married couple, she's told us. And yeah, that doesn't stop Matt and Amani from heaping on the pressure.
I'm crying because I felt very bad. Me sentí como si ella me estuviera obligando, me estuviera forzando a hacer algo.
Yeah, they are pressuring you. Like, let's not forget, these two have left their kids behind to come to Mexico in a bid to figure out how serious this relationship is, right? They're essentially willing to commit fraud, get a divorce from their legitimate marriage in order for one of them to marry you and then bring you over on a K1 visa. I mean, that by itself is insane. The fact that they've gone on a TV show to admit this is nuts. But the fact that Annie hasn't been honest with her family, the fact that she's presenting a distorted version of reality, is now making Matt and Amani question how seriously she's actually taking this. And just to make matters worse, what Annie admits next is about to pour gasoline on the fire.
Are you not telling people you're in a serious relationship?
No.
I am done.
Honey,
You can't turn her to a housewife. That's what's going on.
Ouch. That right there. She may have tried to hide it, but that is the real Amani. All it took was one answer that she didn't like, learning one thing that she's not happy with, and Amani has got up, stormed off, created a scene, and insulted Annie. Now, make no mistake, that insult was very barbed. It was very direct. It was a clue of how Amani sees Annie. Remember, we've been told that Annie works as a stripper. She became a stripper in a bid to support her children. But Amani's response isn't only disrespectful, right? She's also completely lost her mind. She has a full-blown meltdown.
I don't understand. I didn't know that she doesn't tell people all this time.
Look, I understand that both Amani and Matt are concerned, right? They're scared that they may be wasting their time on someone that's just playing games. But, again, they're acting like this is a normal relationship, but they're not in a normal relationship. Nothing about this is normal. Like, I'd argue that it's perfectly normal for Annie to also want to test Matt and Amani. They want to see if she's serious. Well, she wants to see how they are. Surely Amani should have some sympathy, some empathy for why Annie is so nervous about announcing this.
Please.
If it was just you not wanting the world to know that you were in a throuple, I understand, but you're not telling the world that you're taking period, and I have a problem with that.
Wait, wasn't Amani just bawling her eyes out? Why is there now not a single tear on her face? Why is her makeup perfectly in place? It's weird, like it suggests that she may have been faking that.
I don't understand. I didn't know that she doesn't tell people all this time.
What I do know for sure is that while Amani and Matt want to marry Annie, Annie isn't so sure. She's not in the same headspace. She seems more interested in just dating. And as you can imagine, that does not sit well with Amani at all. So when their conversation doesn't get anywhere, right, after going round and round in circles, Annie just walks away. She's done with this. But she should know by now that if Amani wants to talk now, she's darn well gonna talk now.
You going nowhere.
No, I don't like problems.
I didn't tell you I was
I
done
swear
with you.
to
Let
God.
me make that
I have
clear.
problems in my mind, in my life. I have many problems.
Did Amani really just say that? Did she really just say, I didn't tell you I was done with you, as if she owns Annie? Yeah, what is it I've been saying since the very first episode? The power dynamic in this relationship, but with Amani in particular, is massively skewed. Amani's the one with the money. She's the one that's paid for all of this, right? And she thinks that she's the one in charge. Like, notice how Matt's just standing there, right? He's there silently watching on as if this is totally normal for him. Because honestly, it probably is normal. But the thing is, Annie isn't Matt, right? She is not a pushover.
You do not get to walk away from me like that.
You are not my owner.
I wish you to see that I love you. I care about you. If I didn't care
but
about you,
I
wouldn't
don't
be
work for
acting
you.
this way.
I don't work for
I never said you
okay.
did.
Oh, okay, so now Amani's acting all innocent, as if she didn't just expect Annie to do exactly what she demanded. Yeah, Annie is now getting her very first taste of Amani's crazy, and understandably, it's now left her super hesitant about whether or not she wants to remain in this relationship.
She thinking if she have money, she can give me orders, say no.
I don't think that went very well at all.
Oh my God, that's the best thing you can say.
My favourite part of all of this, right, is the look in Matt's eyes. He's there looking at the camera like, please help me. But I'm sorry, Matt. You've made your bed, now you're gonna have to lie in it. You're the one that chose to marry Amani and then add a fiery Latina into the mix for good measure. Good luck, my friend, you're gonna need it. But just when you thought the two women couldn't be more mad at each other, suddenly everything turns in a very unexpected way.
I love you more, him. You don't understand.
But like he comes
Shut
part
up.
of the package.
Shut
What am
up.
I supposed to do?
I feel more things for you.
Oh my gosh, what a fucked fucked up relationship this is. So all this time that we thought Annie might like Matt more than she likes Amani, now we learn, actually no, it's the opposite. She loves Amani more than she loves Matt. Now, while Amani kind of mutters that that's a problem, I don't think she means it. Amani tells Annie not to tell Matt what she just told her, because remember, Amani loves feeling like the most important one, and that is exactly what Annie has just done. She's made her feel like she's the most important person in this relationship. She's pandered to her out of control ego.
I've been waiting so long to hear such validation from her. At the same time, I don't know if it's coming out of her mouth because I got really mad at her.
Is there the very real possibility that Annie was just saying whatever she needed to say in order to get Amani to shut up in that moment? Oh yes, of course there is. And yet, somehow, this already messy throuple has just got 1,000% messier. Like, mark my words here, whichever way it pans out, I get the feeling this throuple is going to end up a couple before too long.